Now, from WYDC TV, this is Big Fox News at 10.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Anna Manuel. A funeral is planned for Friday for a Chemung County legislator. Brian Hyland, the incumbent for Legislative District 6 in Chemung County, passed away over the weekend at age 77. With the election less than 2 weeks away, the Republican Party is meeting to submit another name for the ballot. The Chemung County Board of Elections is working on printing new polls for early voters and absentee ballot voters. The Elmira Police Department has lifted its officer county residence requirement. Instead of having to live in Chemung County, Elmira PD officers can now live anywhere within 60 miles of Elmira City Hall. This change was made to attract more officers to the department. By extending the boundaries, potential new officers are not forced to sell their houses and move. The motion passed on a 5-2 city council vote. A local school program lets students build houses for the city of Hornell. Big Fox's Josh Feldberg went to see the progress on the new homes.
The Board of Cooperative Educational Services, or BOCES, helps students learn hands-on skills that they can take with them into their careers. The Greater Southern Tier BOCES School in Hornell has a program in place that lets students build houses for the city.
So we're building a modular house for the city of Hornell. It's 28 by 56, 3-bedroom house, and we build it here in our shop in 2 sections. And we do everything from the framing on up through the electrical and the plumbing. We put the insulation in, we hang the sheetrock and drywall, we do the windows, siding, roofing, everything. It's a complete project.
The project is for the school's senior students. The students work every day on the house and work to complete it over the course of the school year.
And Rob and his team give them those skill sets, and they develop that here, and they can apply that to the real world right out of the gate. And so it's a great thing for the kids, and it's a great thing for the community overall. The city of Hornell, we've added over $1 million back onto the tax rolls throughout this program. This is the house number 12. House number 11 is just being buttoned up now, and we'll go on the auction block here shortly.
Every year, a new class of students gets to learn and experience these valuable skills.
I've learned a lot, for sure. I was good with my hands before I came here, but when I came, I learned all the technicality of it, and I can do a lot more than I used to do. Woodworking with my hands, learn how critical every little detail is. Very important, so it's pretty great. I love it, though.
I'm on Preston Street in Hornell, the permanent site for the most recent home built by the BOCES program. It will soon be available on auction for a family to move into, with the proceeds going back into the BOCES program to fund the next house. Josh Feldberg, Big Fox News, Hornell.
It's almost Halloween, which means it's almost time for trick-or-treating. Big Fox has some of those trick-or-treating times for the Southern Tier. In Bath and Hornell, trick-or-treating will start in the village at 6 and go until 8. Elmira's trick-or-treating on Monday will begin at 5:30 and also go until 8. Corning will have a drive-through Halloween lane event in Denison Park starting at 6 on Saturday the 29th. Stick with Big Fox for continuing updates on trick-or-treating times. Americans have lost some optimism in the economy. The Conference Board says its Consumer Confidence Index dropped in October to 102.5. It's the first drop in 3 months. Those responding were concerned about high inflation and the rising odds of recession. Gas and food prices were behind consumer worries. New York City has seen a boom in its rat population, and the city is blaming the garbage-lined streets. Arthur Cheen has more on how the city plans to deal with this problem.
Like this, that big.
Name something all New Yorkers have come across and even remember the exact size of.
Is that with or without the tail?
No, without. So with the tail, like this.
I would say about that size.
Is that with the tail?
Without the tail.
Sometimes mistaken for a cat, it is the almighty city rat. Even grown-ups like Joy just couldn't believe what she was seeing down the street last week as she was walking her daughter to school.
I said it was a cat. She said it was a rat.
She was right?
She was right.
The rat population in New York City has always been strong, but since the pandemic, authorities say it has exploded. Part of the evidence, the skyrocketing number of 311 calls, or one could just ride the subways. Enter the main culprit, stacks of garbage the city calls a rat buffet. Left festering on the streets, garbage bags can be brought out as early as 4 p.m. and not picked up until the next morning, making this rat cafeteria one with long hours. Those we spoke with on the Lower East Side not only agree there is a problem, but from Joy to Jose have different solutions.
I think it starts with personal responsibility. I think people need to clean up behind themselves. We've been slacking since the pandemic.
But they should put dumpsters or something like that so they could put in with lids.
City Hall agrees with Jose and has announced a move to shrink the hours during which garbage bags can be put out for pickup, moving the start time from the current 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. or later, cutting their average time sitting on the streets from 14 hours to 10 hours. Buildings with trash containers will be given leeway.
The biggest swing that you can take at cleaning up our streets is to shut down the all-night, all-you-can-eat rat buffet.
Police in New York City arrest a man accused of pushing another man onto subway tracks. The attack was captured on video. It happened last Friday in Brooklyn and appeared to be random and unprovoked. On Monday, police arrested 41-year-old Lamal McCray, who's charged with attempted murder, assault, reckless endangerment, and harassment. McCray has a history of arrests for violent crime. He was arrested for murder when he was just 16 years old and has been charged in other cases with assault, burglary, and robbery. The victim in the latest case was not hit by a train but did suffer injuries. King Charles III met with his second leader of the UK today as 42-year-old Rishi Sunak officially becomes Britain's new Prime Minister. Alex Hogan has more from London.
Pretty astounding. A groundbreaking milestone, and it matters. It matters.
President Biden joining leaders from around the world in congratulating Britain's new prime minister. Rishi Sunak met with King Charles III on Tuesday morning, formally becoming head of the British government amid a series of growing economic crises. In his first remarks after taking office, Sunak stressed getting the country's economy back on track is his top priority. He thanked his predecessor Liz Truss while also acknowledging what he called the mistakes.
Mistakes were made, not born of ill will or bad intentions. And I have been elected as leader of my party and your Prime Minister, in part, to fix them.
Sunak isn't the typical prime minister at 42. He's the youngest to hold the position in more than 200 years. He's also the first leader of color and one of the richest, with a net worth valued at more than $830 million. His election has calmed markets here for the time being, but Sunak still needs a plan to deal with inflation, which is spiraling out of control. The opposition Labour Party is now calling for a new election, claiming Sunak doesn't have a mandate to lead and doesn't understand the gravity of the economic situation.
Families are really worried about the cost of living that they face and have heard nothing from Rishi Sunak about how he's going to actually tackle the challenges that people are facing today.
Sunak's first big test will come at the end of the month when he's expected to announce a new medium-term budget plan. In London, Alex Hogan, Fox News.
Do you know how much plastic is actually recycled? You may be shocked. I'm Jackie Ibanez with a look at the pros and cons of a possible solution to help less plastic wind up in landfills. That's straight ahead.
Here's your local stock market update from Big Fox. Now, your Twin Tiers forecast from Big Fox.
The above-average weather pattern continues to hold on, but there are changes ahead. Now, the changes are not going to be as drastic as we were dealing with last week with only a high of 48 degrees on Thursday. The good news is we made that improvement. We've had some pleasant weather. There has been some stray showers and some cloudier skies that we've been battling with some weak systems off towards our east. But what we'll see in places that we are going to be watching what's coming from the west, and that is going to be a cold front. Now, we'll note that as we step through the overnight, we stay under those mostly cloudy skies that we were were dominated by through much of the day today and the last 48 hours, really. But you still have that southerly wind in place. Not too strong overall, but with the cloud cover and the southerly wind, we do stay mild through the overnight, holding on to those 50s. So that's going to give us a mild start to the day to bring those temperatures again, potentially back up into those 60s and 70s. Now, it is going to stay gloomy, and we have the potential to bring in some rainier conditions through the afternoon. Not expecting much for accumulation, just a few hundredths of an inch is all that we're expecting, so not a soaking forecast, but again, leave the sunglasses at home and keep that umbrella handy for maybe a few isolated spots of a brief downpour when you may be running some of those errands. But we'll see that it is going to finally bring in some clearing. We should have some more sunshine in the mix as early as that Thursday forecast. But it is a frontal system that is going to allow for that cloud cover to move out and a high pressure system to move in, which is going to bring us cooler weather, but we're going to hold on to seasonal. Again, not as cool as we were last week. And then we'll see that as we have temperatures pulled back towards average, there is some slight warming to get us back into those 60s for our weekend forecast, as we should be fairly pleasant as we step into this last weekend of October. So trending into our Wednesday forecast, again, still battling some of those gloomier skies, maybe some peaks of sunshine, but by the mid-afternoon, some light showers move on through. But pretty quick moving overall and on the lighter side. And then by Thursday morning, we'll start to see those winds switch and we'll see some gradual clearing and those cooler temperatures move in. So through much of the day on Wednesday, we do have that southerly wind still in place, and it could be up to about 20 to 25 miles per hour gusting into the afternoon with that rainfall passage. So not a little blustery, but not overall going to be seeing our Halloween decorations in the next town over. But what we will see is that we still have a chance to maybe top off into those upper 60s and lower 70s, even under that cloud cover. Again, that morning temperature does help out. If we start off into those upper 50s, we only have to climb 10 to even up to 15 degrees to see us climb into those 70s. But as we get that clearing as well as that northerly wind in place, note that we do fall back into those 50s, which it sounds cool, but that's what's average for this time of the year, is to hold within these 50s. Still will be a little breezy on Thursday, but winds should calm into our Friday, still near seasonal, and then the weekend forecast should continue to show those sunny skies in place, a few low 60s, and then we'll have to keep an eye on a chance for some showery weather for our Halloween forecast.
Another business parts ways with Ye West. An Italian restaurant chain gets sued for its inflation fee. GMC's new truck sells out. And Taylor Swift's new album is off to a record-breaking start. CJ Papa has today's business briefs.
Adidas ending its partnership with Ye West following a string of controversies. The move coming after pressure on Adidas from human rights advocates. Ye stirring controversy after recent anti-Semitic comments. Several businesses have severed ties with the musician and designer, including Hollywood talent agency CAA. A lawyer in Hawaii is suing Romano's Macaroni Grill for adding a temporary inflation fee to its bills, the chain adding $2 onto customers' bills. Brandy Faria telling Fox Business restaurants and corporations like to add on these fees that are supposed to look official and somehow required. And in fact, it's just a way for them to increase their bottom line. Reservations to get GMC's new electric pickup truck sold out in just 15 minutes on Monday. The automaker only requiring a $100 deposit for the reservations, but the new EV will run customers $107,000. It'll be released in early 2024. And Taylor Swift's Midnight's breaking records, moving more than 1 million units in a week, and she did it in 3 days.
Diamonds in my eyes, I polish up real nice.
The last album to accomplish this feat, Taylor Swift's Reputation in 2017. Billboard also reporting the new album brought in over 284 million streams across all platforms. That's business. I'm CJ Papa.
The new director of the Federal Bureau of Prisons promises reform addressing inmate safety and employment issues that compromise how many of the facilities safely operate. Jackie Ibanez reports.
In the wake of escalating criticism against the U.S. federal prison system, highlighting ongoing issues of sexual assault, suicides, and homicides, Colette Peters, the new Federal Bureau of Prisons director, says enough is enough.
We cannot have any surprises. We have to know what is happening inside our agency so we can help.
Peters vowing Monday to reform the nation's dilapidated federal prisons, which hold nearly 160,000 inmates and are run by more than 30,000 staff. The change starts by enforcing a zero-tolerance policy for employees who abuse power.
Just holding people accountable when we find out that they have falsified documentation or have engaged in not doing their job.
Making prisons safer also involves increased monitoring of conflicts between inmates, as well as reviewing where inmates are housed and with whom they share a cell.
Many of the suicides occur in single cells. Many of them occur in restrictive housing. So ensuring that there's programming and treatment and access to psychology services while in restrictive housing, ensuring that people are not single-celled is incredibly important.
Major overhauls are also being made across women's prisons to address sexual assaults.
We're trying to inject the agency with trauma-informed care, gender-responsive care, and really taking all of these allegations seriously.
Meanwhile, Peters says it's critical to bolster employment at prisons with staff who are dedicated to reforming inmates so they can successfully rejoin society after their sentences. Jackie Ibanez, Fox News.
Still ahead, a yard full of prehistoric fun that you have to see to believe. Stay with us. Well, recycling can help the planet, but only if the right products actually get recycled. Jackie Ibanez has the shocking numbers highlighting the plastic catastrophe and a look at a possible solution.
In the U.S. alone, more than 90% of plastic waste is never recycled, according to data collected by the Environmental Protection Agency. Besides being burned or winding up in the environment, much of it is deposited in landfills, where it takes plastic bottles, for example, roughly 450 years to decompose.
It's going to take a multi-generational solution to fix.
Now, some of the companies making up the plastic industry are advocating for more chemical recycling facilities to combat the crisis. The process involves using heat or chemicals to convert plastic waste into a liquid. The substance is then turned into recycled pellets to make new plastic products.
We bring in typically about 100,000 pounds per day of used plastic, and that converts into about 10,000 gallons of hydrocarbon liquid that can go back into making new plastics.
But critics worry chemical recycling won't reduce the amount of plastic being produced and used. In fact, a United Nations report finds global plastic production is expected to more than quadruple by 2050. Activists are also concerned about the emissions chemical recycling plants can produce and the potential harm they pose for surrounding communities.
What kind of value are we setting up for ourselves and for our community?
7 small chemical recycling plants are currently operating in the U.S. Eastman, ExxonMobil, Nexus Circular, and other companies have announced plans to build larger-scale facilities in the near future. Jackie Ibanez, Fox News.
A Nevada man wants to bring smiles to people's faces and uses some prehistoric creatures to help him out with that mission. Kim Passeth has more on the Dino Man from Henderson, Nevada.
There is a velociraptor, triceratops, a blue brontosaurus, a little guy on the roof, and the big guy, a Tyrannosaurus Rex, almost the size of the one-story home.
And we started with one dinosaur, and now we have 62, and it's taken on a life of its own.
The dinosaur man is Steve Springer.
I'm Rex, how are you?
A retired 6th and 7th grade English teacher.
I taught school around the corner for 30 years, and I missed the kids so much, I wanted to do something that would put a smile on their face and make their day better. So I thought, I'm going to create a park that's one of a kind in the world, and you can come do whenever you want to, that won't cost you anything.
He decorates the dinosaurs for every holiday. For Halloween, he's added skulls, dismembered body parts, spiders, and a giant blow-up dragon.
I think that he has done a great job with putting it all together, and honestly I feel like the community is better because of it.
That's awesome. We bring these little guys here at least once a week.
Most of his guests are local, but thanks to internet fame, some come from around the world.
I mean, we had somebody the other day call from Japan. Can we make a reservation? No, just when you're in Vegas, just pop on over.
And when visiting the Dino Man in his Dino Land, no one leaves empty-handed.
This is our dinosaur buried treasure wall.
Every visitor, adult and child, gets to pick a dinosaur egg from the wall. The number inside corresponds with the prize. He does take donations, but the vast majority of all of this is paid for out of his pocket because of the kindness in his heart.
I'll keep going as long as I can physically do it.
A desire to make the modern world a little more fun with his army of prehistoric creatures.
We'll be right back with more after this. The Last Blockbuster store wants you to party with them. The store, located in Bend, Oregon, is working with the London-based board game company Big Potato Games to host an in-store movie and game night. One lucky winner and up to 4 of their guests will get a chance to visit the last remaining movie rental store. They'll receive $3,000 for flights and accommodations. There will be food, drinks, and a massive TV to watch anything content the store offers. The board game company will also be giving its new blockbuster-themed game set, which includes 3 games that test a player's movie knowledge. Those who want in have until Sunday, October 30th to sign up for a chance to win. The winner will be picked that same day and notified November 1st. I'm Harriet Wallace. Thanks so much for watching.